My boss said, pretend to be my husband for 1 year. Single dad said, so we're sharing a bed? Kindness sometimes walks into your life wearing the strangest disguise. Mine showed up the day my boss looked me straight in the eyes and asked me to pretend to be her husband. I was a single dad, exhausted, broke, and just trying to survive. I never imagined that one unexpected favor would change my life, heal old wounds, and teach me that kindness, real kindness, can turn strangers into family. Before we begin, if you enjoy emotional, real-life-inspired stories about love, kindness, and second chances, take a moment to subscribe, like, and comment below. You're watching Heartfelt Moments, where small acts of kindness lead to life-changing stories. Now, let me take you back to how it all started. I was 35, raising my 6-year-old son, Noah, alone. His mom had passed away 3 years earlier, and since then, my world had shrunk to school drop-offs, late-night laundry, and microwave dinners. I worked as an operations manager at a mid-sized marketing firm in Chicago. The job paid the bills, barely. But it was stable, and stability was everything when you had a kid depending on you. My boss, Emily Carter, was nothing like the corporate villains you see in movies. She was sharp, well-dressed, and always calm, but there was a quiet sadness behind her eyes. She was 40, successful, and single. People whispered about her behind her back, how she was too cold, too focused on work, or married to her career. I never joined in. I respected her. She was fair, kind, and she once paid for my son's school books without making me feel small. One evening, she asked me to stay late. Her office lights were dim, the city glowing outside the window. She looked nervous, tapping her fingers on the desk. "I need to ask you something," she said softly. "And you can say no." That alone scared me. She took a deep breath and explained everything. Her family owned a large portion of the company. Her father was sick, and her traditional relatives believed she wasn't settled enough to take full control. They wanted her married. Worse, they wanted proof, public appearances, holidays, family gatherings. "I need someone I trust," she said. "Just for 1 year. I'll pay you. Generously. Enough to help you and your son." I stared at her, speechless. Then I blurted out the dumbest thing. "So, we're sharing a bed?" She blinked, then laughed, a real laugh, the kind that cracks through stress. "No," she said quickly. "Separate rooms. This is about kindness, not lies." I went home that night confused, angry, and hopeful all at once. I hated the idea of pretending. But I loved the idea of security for Noah. A better apartment. Health insurance. College savings. I said yes. From the outside, we looked like the perfect couple. Dinners with her family. Work events where she'd casually rest her hand on my arm. Holiday photos where Noah sat between us, smiling wider than I'd seen in years. Behind closed doors, we were awkward roommates learning each other's habits. Emily drank tea at midnight. I woke up at 5 a.m. She worked too much. I worried too much. But kindness filled the gaps. She learned Noah's bedtime routine and read him stories when I worked late. I fixed things around the house without being asked. When she had panic attacks before family events, I listened without judgment. When I had nightmares about losing my wife all over again, she sat on the floor outside my door until I calmed down. One night, Noah asked, "Is Emily my new mom?" I froze. Emily knelt in front of him and said gently, "I'm someone who cares about you very much. That's all that matters." That moment changed everything. The year passed faster than I expected. Somewhere along the way, pretending turned into something real. Not romance at first, respect. Friendship. Trust. The kind of connection built through quiet kindness, not dramatic gestures. Then the truth came out. At a family dinner, Emily's cousin accused her of manipulating everyone. He hinted that our marriage was fake. The room went silent. Emily looked crushed. I stood up, heart pounding, and said, "This started as a favor." "Yes. But kindness isn't fake. Love doesn't always start the way you expect. And family isn't about how it looks, it's about how you show up." I didn't know where the words came from. I only knew they were true. That night, after everyone left, Emily cried. Not polite tears. Real ones. "I never thought anyone would stand up for me like that," she whispered. I realized then that kindness had already done its work. It had built something strong and honest between us. At the end of the year, we sat at the kitchen table, papers ready. The deal was over. "You don't owe me anything," she said. "You can leave." I looked at Noah, laughing in the living room. I looked at Emily, nervous and hopeful. "What if," I said slowly, "we stop pretending, but not because of a deal?" She smiled through tears. We didn't rush. We took our time. But this time, it was real. Today, years later, I tell this story not because it's unusual, but because it's human. Kindness doesn't always look heroic. Sometimes it looks like listening. Like helping without expecting love in return. Like choosing empathy when it's easier to walk away. Kindness changed my life. It gave my son stability. It gave a lonely woman support. And it gave me a second chance at family. If there's one thing I hope you take from this story, it's this: one small act of kindness can quietly reshape an entire future. So be gentle. Be brave. And never underestimate the power of showing up for someone when they need it most.